Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here as we get set to begin our 5th ever Hersheys Cup Series chase for the championship, getting things kicked off here to continuing and completing our race weekend at the Chicagoland Motor Speedway. Getting set here today to begin the 10-race road to determine who will be the final 4 drivers that will battle for the championship in our season finale. The Tale of the Turtles 400 about set to be run in the daytime. Our Truck Series race and our Pizza Hut X Series races this weekend were run under the lights. Daytime conditions for the Hersheys Cup Series drivers, so they're going to have to face an entirely different animal here today. Not sure how much they were able to get as far as homework for the Truck Series race and the Pizza Hut X Series race that took place here earlier this weekend. If they'll be able to apply anything from that into this event, but we'll have to wait and see. Not a whole lot I would think they'd be able to determine in terms of fuel strategy because we ran under the caution quite a bit in our 2 previous races here this weekend. But let me run you down some stats coming into this season's chase for the championship. 7 drivers that competed in the chase last season made it into this season's chase. 2 of the drivers are former champions of the series. Also 2 of the drivers made it into the Final 4 to compete for the championship last year. Neither were successful. And 7 drivers have made their way into their very first career Hersheys Cup Series chase for the championship, including 3 rookie drivers. So it's quite a cornucopia of drivers that will be battling for the championship here this season. And again, keep in mind, any way along this 3-race road towards our first elimination race at Oswego, if a championship contending driver goes to victory lane, boom, they're automatically locked into the round of 12. So we'll have to keep an eye on our playoff drivers here today and see if any of them will be able to pull off a win here at Chicagoland. This race, though, going to be 41 laps, and so like I said, there is the possibility that we may end up seeing these drivers have to do fuel strategy, but not a whole lot of hopefulness for that in the terms that we ran most of our previous 2 races here this weekend under the yellow flag. Maybe the daytime conditions will make it a little bit more difficult for these drivers to be as aggressive as they were in our 2 previous races, but we're just going to have to wait and see what side of the spectrum it fits. Is it going to be a wreck fest and a survival race for these playoff contenders, or is it going to be a race where truly fuel strategy will come into play? On the front row, D Poteet competed in the championship hunt last season, was a 3-time winner last year, had a win this season, but was not high enough in the point standings to have that win count towards one of the 16 chase spots. He'll start in the pole, just try to finish out the season with as many wins as possible.
Drivers, start your engine!
As we've got the command to fire the engines. Alongside of him, Quentin Moore, one of 5 rookies this season, but one of 2 rookies that did not make the chase for the championship. 3 rookies did in the forms of K Shearer, Alex Drayton, and Caleb Farrell. The only 2 rookies that didn't make it were Quentin Moore and Cody Smart. As the command to fire the engines was given, 41 laps of racing here today, so if you didn't tune into our Truck Series or Pizza X Series race, the stages today will be 15, 15, and 11, completions of laps 15, 30, and 41. Those stage points could be very, very important for these playoff drivers. Your playoff drivers coming into this race, if you don't know already, Chris Dodd comes into the number 1 seed by 1 point over a 4-way tie for second. Trent Dunham, Cole Baker, and Dallas McIntosh, all 2-time winners. K Shearer is tied with Daniel Guilbert, Sean Galligan, Dylan Young, and Benjamin Miles for 6th place, 2 points back from the points lead. 3 points back are Caleb Farrell, Jessica Shelton, and Joshua Michaels. And the final 2 drivers that are, or 3 drivers I should say, that are 4 points back are Charles Sandfer, Garrett Sydnor, and Alex Drayton. Highest starting playoff driver today. As a matter of fact, they make up row 3. Garrett Sydnor in the 38, Chris Dodd in the 88, and then right behind them you got Joshua Michaels and Daniel Guilbert. We'll have to see if track position is a huge factor into whether these drivers will get stage points or not. But D Poteet getting ready to get us underway here as we get ready for the Tale of the Turtles 400. We're green. Let's roll in the chase. And I apologize, I did make a little bit of a mistake at the beginning where I stated that these drivers, their elimination race was going to be at Oswego. That is incorrect. As a matter of fact, their elimination race is going to be at Indianapolis. They will be heading next week to the short track of Dodge Motordrome, and then Indianapolis is the first elimination race in which we will whittle it down from 16 to 12 drivers still competing for the championship, as rookie Quentin Moore, he's not in the playoffs, but he's going to lead the first lap of the day here. And now, here comes a playoff driver in Alex Drayton. Trouble in the back! That's L Alvarise up and into the wall. Caution's going to wave. Looked like only 2 cars, but one of them was the 08 non-playoff driver. The only question is, who was the other driver that was involved with him? As they come to the line, it's going to be a drag race for second between a couple playoff drivers, Shelton and Drayton. Give it to Drayton as Quentin Moore leads us under the first yellow of the day, and they were 4 wide coming to the line there between Cole Baker, Levi McIntyre, Daniel Guilbert, and I couldn't tell quite who the other driver was. Cody Smart just got spun. He's going to collect Dylan Poteet. Oh, no, don't back into each other, guys. Save it. Please save it. Please save it. Please save it. They did. Whoa. That was close. That was right in front of some playoff contenders, too, like Chris Dodd, Charles Sandford, Dylan Young. Dylan Poteet, I don't think, is going to be too happy about that. Neither will Cody Smart. Poteet looks like he's okay, though. I don't think he really got much damage. Don't know about the 12, though. 12's got some rear end damage, but that could have been a lot worse right there. A couple of drivers that were down on the apron. Poteet will get back up into the 9th position where he crossed the line. So Quentin Moore leads us under the first caution. Let's see if we can find out who exactly was involved in that yellow flag. There's the car I saw get spun around, L Alvarise. Got his teammate Tim Walsh back here, Cody Llamas. There's K Farrell back here. He's a playoff contender. I don't know if he got involved or not, but we're going to have to find out. Oh, there's Cody Llamas, right side damage, so I'm assuming it was the 48 and the 08 that probably got together. Caution for the first time today here at Chicagoland. Let's take a look at a replay. Going down here into turn 1. Look on the bottom of the racetrack there. That is, I believe, Cole Baker trying to make it 4 wide under Johnny Gardner. Gardner going to make some contact with L Alvarise, and that sends him up into Cody Llamas. Dallas McIntosh was right behind that. He was able to get to the inside. Nice job there by Cody Llamas to keep the car straight as everyone goes by him. And L Alvarise was the only driver facing the incorrect direction with that caution waving, but everybody else did a heck of a job getting through that without any incident happening. So that was really, really close. 2-car incident, believe it or not, puts us under our first caution of the evening, and that's of the day, and that's actually a very unusual thing to be hearing with what we've been hearing with multi-car wrecks all weekend long. Green flag will come back out on lap 7 of 41. Quentin Moore out in front, only driver to hit pit road under that caution was Cody Llamas to repair the right side damage sustained after the contact with L Alvarise. Not even L Alvarise came to pit road, so must not have been that much of a hit into the outside wall, and we saw that little stack up take place there with Cody Smart getting spun out at turn 2. Well, he didn't come to pit road, and neither did the car he collected, Dylan Poteet. So everybody's still running and still on the lead lap. Quentin Moore out in front. Highest running playoff driver is fellow rookie Alex Drayton right there in second. Another playoff driver in Jessica Shelton in third. Then it's J Arndt in fourth. His teammate and playoff driver J Sydnor is in fifth. Another playoff driver in Anthony McCrury there in sixth. And the only other playoff driver inside the top 10 is the 10th place car of Joshua Michaels. So we have a total of 5 playoff drivers restarting up here inside of the top 10. We're still going to have about 9 laps to go here in this stage. Green flag back in the air. We're back underway at Chicagoland. And maybe seeing that it was just a 2-car wreck that brought out this yellow flag, almost technically a single-car spin, maybe there's a little bit of hope this race could go green for a certain stretch. Alex Drayton out to the inside lines. Drayton came into this race 16th of the 16 playoff drivers in the 16th slot, and trying to be the first playoff driver to lead a lap here today. Shelton, though, is going to go to the bottom. She's going to try and take the race lead out of turn 4. Drag race to the line. Give it to Shelton. She will lead the first lap as a playoff driver this season. But there's more playoff drivers hungry right behind her. J Sydnor in the 38, Anthony McCrury in the 61. I mentioned before with the statistics that there are 2 drivers in this field that made it to the Final 4 at Auto Club last season competing for the championship but were unsuccessful. McCrury is one of those. The other one is the 03 of Charles Sandfer. J Sydnor tried to get a run there out of turn 4, battling side by side with his teammate out of AS Racing, J Arndt in the 05, and now here comes Anthony McCrury, going to make it 3 wide for the second position. All this going on behind Jessica Shelton. Cole Baker, Daniel Guilbert, couple more playoff drivers have now made their way up into the top 10, now trying to crack the top 5 as J Arndt takes the race lead. In the Reddit Chevrolet, J Arndt made the chase last season, picking up his first and only career win so far at Kansas. Still looking for his second win of the season and second win of his career and first of the season, I should say. As Joshua Michaels got a little squirrely there, may have gotten a little contact between himself and Cole Baker. Joshua Michaels, of course, in his final season in Hersheys Cup Series, that announcement coming a few days ago, where he will be then giving his charter over to Shane Lake, who we saw a little bit of a preview of in our All-Star race weekend when he filled in for Johnny Gardner. A little contact right there between Anthony McCrury and I think that was Daniel Guilbert. It was either McCrury and Guilbert or McCrury and Shelton. They were 4 wide. They bounced off each other, and somehow, fortunately, they didn't wreck. That was a close call. Contact between a couple of the playoff drivers. J Arndt out in front, though, showing the race way. Now, we had a playoff driver go to victory lane in our Truck Series race here a couple of days ago in Nick Johnson, where we saw Patrick Curtis, a non-playoff driver, go to victory lane in our race here last night in the Pizza Hut X Series. So the question is, will a playoff driver or a non-playoff driver go to victory lane in this one here today at Chicagoland? As Zachary Fitzwater now gets moved up to the high side, Joshua Michaels going to look for the second position. All this going on behind J Arndt, who's got to be loving it right now because every time they battle for second, that alleviates the pressure off of him. He can just hit his marks, and it allows him to be able to keep some distance between himself in this battle for second. Car in the grass and spinning. Cody Smart back up the track. McCrury is involved. Alex Drayton is collected as well, and there's going to be a stack up. Brandon Gonzales is in it. Benjamin Miles might have been involved. Chris Dodd took evasive action. They might have avoided it, but I'm not certain. The two that took the hardest hits for the playoff drivers from what I saw were Alex Drayton and Anthony McCrury. Caution will wave. They'll race back to the line because the leader had crossed the start-finish line before that caution came out, and J Arndt will lead us under yellow, and you can see just how close to the front of the field that was. Top 5 drivers are all away, and look out! Oh, and then Zachary Fitzwater just hit Brooke Allen, and Brooke Allen's upside down as she came up into the path of Jessica Shelton, and Garrett Sydnor just clobbered Zachary Fitzwater. Look out! More drivers coming in. Oh, careful, careful. Yikes. Oh, my goodness. 2 drivers, Shelton and Garrett Sydnor, were running up inside the top 10. And just like that, they both may have their day over because they didn't slow down in time for drivers that were trying to leave the scene of the accident over in turn number 1. And it looks like J Arndt's coming to pit road. Well, I think we're going to start to be able to compile the list of drivers that are going to head into Dodge Motordrome next week, really needing a good finish after maybe DNFing in this one. We're going to watch the 02 and the 38, Shelton and Sydnor. You can see both of them right now in this shot. Shelton about to pull into her pit stall. Will she continue? Yeah, they're going to try and get that car back out. Garrett Sydnor in the 38 still yet to get into his pit stall. You see him behind Joshua Michaels. He's going to pull into his pit stall. Will they be able to fix the 38, or is he out of this race? They're servicing the car. I mean, these drivers know every position, even if you're damaged, is worth a point. So Sydnor and Shelton going to bite the bullet, go out there with damaged race cars and try and finish this thing out, regardless of the fact that their cars will probably not be up to speed. J Arndt, though, quickest on and off pit road. He will restart as the leader when we come back green, which I believe when we come back green will actually be determining our stages as well. So I believe coming around this time to the line, J Arndt will be the winner of stage 1. But for now, let's take a look at a replay of what brought out this most recent caution. Well, not the first, but the second time today Cody Smart has been spun. The first time was under caution by Cole Baker, and this time it's by Baker's teammate Anthony McCrury. Gets into the left rear quarter panel of Cody Smart, and by this point, when the 12 car spins sideways, he's a passenger. There's nothing he can do. Car's going to slide in the grass. There's no grip there. Slides back up the track. McCrury also slides up the track. Look at him clobber Alex Drayton right there. Brandon Gonzales collected up in it as well. And it's just try and find each driver and see if they make it through. Cody Smart going to be able to drive away, it looks like. Daniel Guilbert was right back behind this. There you see, I think that's Caleb Farrell up on the top side getting turned around. Kyle Mathews and James McCloud also get spun. contact right there between Dallas McIntosh and Benjamin Miles, so they did get involved. Chris Dodd went down to the apron. He avoided it very nicely. So for the most part, I believe the playoff drivers that got collected in this one were McCrury, McIntosh, Miles, and Drayton. But now we have to see what happened with Jessica Shelton and Garrett Sydnor also over here in turn 1 on the following lap. Alright, now here's what the issue was. The leader had crossed the start-finish line before the caution came out, but the caution came out when half the field was past the start-finish line, half the field was not. These drivers back here had crossed the start-finish line after the caution came out, so that's why they were slow. And watch as Jessica Shelton, everybody goes low, she's going to try and go high. And right there, Zachary Fitzwater is going to get into Brooke Allen. It looked like a good strategy until the 3 was punted right up directly into the path of the 0-2. Brooke Allen hard up into the wall, up into the catch fence, up on the safer barrier. And watch back there in the back of your screen as Garrett Sydnor comes flying in. Fitzwater's car going to turn right down to his way. Sydnor tries going up high, just couldn't do it quickly enough and clobbers the side of Zachary Fitzwater. Shelton, Fitzwater, and Sydnor were all running at the time in, I believe, 2nd, 3rd, and 6th when they crossed the line that last time by. And just like that, they're going to be damaged goods, and we're going to have to see if any of these playoff contenders have continued to try and get those valuable points. Just barely got back in time for the green flag as the field down into 1 and 2. J Arndt got us back underway, and you can see right there the stage points for this stage, and only 2 playoff drivers, or make that 3 playoff drivers, got stage points for this. Cole Baker, Joshua Michaels, and Daniel Guilbert. Drivers, after that incident, out of the race, believe it or not, none. Brooke Allen, who was flipped over, even continuing, and I think we had another spin. There's smoke on the front straightaway, but there's no caution. I don't know what happened. There's no yellow. There is Garrett Sydnor trudging on there in the 38. Brooke Allen we saw there as well. And it looks like it might have been J Baskinger that might have spun. He's on pit road. Battle on for the lead. Joshua Michaels to the inside as they are 4 wide further back. Is that Shelton? That is Shelton. Shelton's up to full speed, apparently. That car clobbered Brooke Allen. She's up to full speed, and she's up still, fighting inside the top 10. Wow. Must have been just the right angle that she hit the 3 car or something. I don't know, but Shelton's chances of winning this race are not over. Joshua Michaels out in front. We mentioned that this is his first time in the chase and will potentially be the last time in the chase as he announced his retirement at the end of the season. And I noticed another driver back here that's probably desperate for a win. Looking right there at the 78 of Matt Haas. Defending champion, will not be defending his title this season. And looking to at least finish out the season with a victory in what's been probably the worst season of his career. He had 2 wins in his rookie season. He had 2 wins, of course, last year in his championship season as Cole Baker got a little tight off the corner and almost collected Keith Batson there out of 4. That was a close call. We saw Jessica Shelton get involved in that wreck under caution. Well, one driver that got involved in the wreck that brought out the caution was Benjamin Miles. He had that contact with Dallas McIntosh. That doesn't seem to have affected his Chevrolet at all. He's now up here battling with J Richardson. That would be, I believe, for the 5th position. We also saw Alex Drayton up here earlier, while another rookie starting to make his way up towards the top 10, and that is the 34 of K Shearer. There he is, last year's runner-up, Blaine Keys, right behind him. Keys failed to make the chase this season. For Blaine Keys, he is now 3 out of 5 in seasons of making the chase, and now J Baskinger, who had the longest streak, 4 out of 4 seasons making the chase, is now going to be 4 for 5 in making the chase for the championship in Hersheys Cup Series competition. I don't know if he's returned back to the track or not. No, he's out of the race. J Baskinger retired out of the race. We saw him on pit road, and I'm assuming he's the reason there was smoke on the front straightaway when we went back green. Benjamin Miles now going to battle for 2nd with J Arndt. Tough break there for J J Baskinger, and they are very fast approaching that 38 of Garrett Sydnor. And you're probably wondering, well, why did Garrett Sydnor, as damaged and off the pace as he is, why is he still out there? Well, for one thing, with his teammate retiring out of the race, that's an extra point that Garrett Sydnor just picked up with the position he picked up on track. And if we end up having more drivers encounter issues here today and get involved in wrecks, that's more positions Garrett Sydnor is able to pick up. And every position is worth a point. Boy, they may catch Garrett Sydnor in a terrible part of the racetrack here down in turn 1. But Joshua Michaels able to get to the inside. He will clear for the position. That's going to hold up that outside line with Matt Haas, Dylan Poteet, Chris Dodd, and Sean Galligan. Nice run for Sean Galligan. He started this race way at the tail end of the field. But he's fought his way up almost inside of the top 10 as J Arndt takes the race lead now. And that might have been a little bit of aid from Garrett Sydnor. Why I see so many drivers up here that would love to be able to get a win for the first time this season. J Arndt, Nathan Hudson, Blaine Keys, of course Keith Batson got a taste of his first career win earlier on this season. Would love to be able to get his second. Boy, I'm noticing one thing here, that a driver that's stuck in the middle 3 wide out of 4 really gets loose. Keith Batson had a little bit of difficulty hanging on to it in the middle of Emmanuel Hartnett and Nathan Hudson that last time around. Almost slid up into the 20 line. Next car that they're going to encounter, I do believe, is going to be the 3 of Brooke Allen, who I cannot believe is actually still running. Was upside down, flipped upside down, was up in the catch fence. Ooh, this is tight back here. Yikes! Almost 4 wide, and Blaine Keys scrubbing the wall as a result. As the battle on for the lead, J Arndt to the inside of Joshua Michaels. J Arndt kind of in the position Joshua Michaels is in this season, last season. Last season, J Arndt making his very first chase for the championship. Joshua Michaels making his very first this season. You gotta wonder who wants it more, and take a look who's popped up here in the top 5. The 99 of Levi McIntire. McIntyre was one of the most consistent drivers last season, but didn't have a win, so he didn't make the chase for the championship. Failed to make the chase this season as well. His last win was at the road course of Lime Rock last year. Oh, and Poteet gets wrecked in the middle of the pack! Caution! Cole Baker's involved! Oh, and Poteet just got nailed by Dallas McIntosh! Dylan Young's collected. Smart. McCloud. Yellow flag waves, and that, I believe, no, I was going to say, I thought it came out in time to save Brooke Allen from going down a lap, but no, she did get lapped just before they got to the line. Excuse me. And it looks like we will have ourselves a restart with less than 10 to go, and Levi McIntire is out in front. But some more playoff drivers involved. There is one of them in Dallas McIntosh. Tim Walsh is on pit lane. Dylan Poteet, who started on the pole. His day is not over. Smoking, and they're still going to service the car. Cody Smart in the 12. Zachary Fitzwater involved. Cole Baker, we know, is in it. And a couple of drivers feel they can't make it on fuel. This could be a fuel strategy move here on the part of Emmanuel Hartnett and K Shearer. Johnny Gardner, L Alvarise, K Mathews all have damage. They're coming to pit road, so they must have been collected in whatever this was. We're going to try and get back around here. There he is, Levi McIntire showing the way, trying to pick up his second win in 2 seasons, first of the year, and what I believe would be his 3rd win of his career, going back to his first back in Season 2 at Las Vegas. Let's take a look and see what brought out the caution for the 2nd time here today at Chicagoland. Well, this is what happened. Looked like a 4-wide situation coming off turn 2. Sandfer on the bottom, Poteet in the middle with Cole Baker, and I think Poteet slid up into the 18. Keith Batson on the high side pinned, nowhere for him to go. Look at Trent Dunham just slipped through there in the 1. There's L Alvarise getting a piece of it. Shelton's going to get a piece of it there with the right side. Nathan Hudson collected as well. Tim Walsh right there going to squeak by. Oh, there's the hit from Dallas McIntosh. Cody Smart nowhere to go. McCloud comes flying in. Dylan Young's going to get involved there in the 2 as well. So that's at least 3 playoff drivers there that we can document. Well, 4 if you count Cole Baker. Baker, Shelton, McIntosh, and Dylan Young. And then we had another wreck up here. And this one actually involved another playoff contender in Caleb Farrell. Let's see how this one started. Oh my. Oh wow. Well, L Alvarise had gone through the grass. He's going to come back up the racetrack and right up into the path of the 55 of Johnny Gardner, who was down on the apron trying to avoid the wreck on the back straightaway. Nowhere for Kyle Mathews to go. There you see Caleb Farrell gets clipped by Brandon Gonzales. He spins up the track along with K Tellier as Gardner's car goes up and over. And then Gardner's going to come back down the racetrack and right in front of Tim Walsh. And then I believe Dylan Young is going to come flying into this one, and he is going to miss it. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, but Poteet nails Kyle Mathews though. And look at Garrett Sydnor moving around. And he is a lap down, but if some of these drivers retire, that's more positions he picks up. And to his credit, a number of playoff contenders were involved in this one. So he might be able to put himself ahead of a couple of the playoff contenders heading into next week with this late race wreck. We're getting ready to go back green. It'll be a total of 6 laps to go when we do so. Sorry, make that 7 laps to go when we do so. Still only car out of the race is J Baskinger. We do have a couple of drivers that are at least 1 lap down. Brooke Allen, Garrett Sydnor, Dallas McIntosh, Tim Walsh, and Dylan Poteet, but they will not be coming up here to the inside line. It'll be a single file restart since there's less than 10 laps to go. Let's give you where your playoff contenders are running. Daniel Guilbert is in 2nd, Joshua Michaels 3rd, Benjamin Miles in 4th, Chris Dodd is 7th, Charles Sandfer 9th, Trent Dunham is in 10th, Sean Galligan 11th, 12th Jessica Shelton, Alex Drayton 14th, Dylan Young is 18th. They have Keith Batson scored in 19th, but I believe he's still on pit road. Caleb Farrell is 22nd, Anthony McCrury 23rd, Cole Baker 26th, green flag back in the air. Kev Shearer is 30th, with Garrett Sydnor in 35th and Dallas McIntosh in 36th. Green flag back in the air. We saw a couple of drivers coming to pit road like Emmanuel Hartnett and Kev Shearer. Is that an indication that this race could potentially come down to fuel strategy, and would those two be the only two with that strategy that can make it to the checkered flag as Joshua Michaels to the bottom of the racetrack takes the lead from Levi McIntyre out of 4. Remember, if a playoff contender wins here tonight, they're locked into the round of 12 regardless of what happens in the upcoming 2 weeks. Starting to see some of the playoff drivers make their way to the front. Miles, Chris Dodd, Trent Dunham, Sean Galligan, they're all fighting up towards the top 5. The 2 spoilers in all this could be the 78 of Matt Haas, the 99 of Levi McIntyre. Chris Dodd, 2-time winner this season, has never won 3 times in a single season. He's now going to take 3rd place from Levi McIntyre. Here comes Trent Dunham, 3 wide for the 4th position. Down the back straightaway. Front 3, single file. Michaels, Haas, Dodd. Michaels a 2-time winner this season. Chris Dodd's been a 2-time winner in 2 seasons, as has Matt Haas. Chris Dodd back in Season 2 and here in Season 5. Matt Haas in Seasons 3 and 4. Matt Haas all over the back bumper, taking a look on the inside line. It's Toyota Camry versus Honda Accord. Down the back straightaway, battle on for the 3rd position between Miles and Chris Dodd. J Arndt with a big run. I thought he might try going up the middle there 3 wide. Now he ducks to the inside line as Michaels has to give way to Matt Haas for the race lead here with 3 laps to go. Michaels still caught up topside. Look at Sandfer. 2 tires down on the apron to be able to make room to the inside of J Arndt for third. Michaels with the crossover, back to the inside. That's going to allow Sandfer in third to maybe close the gap, but he got a little tight there into the corner. Michaels back to the top position. Slow car maybe up ahead that they may catch before we get back to the white flag. We'll have to wait and see. Could be a difference maker as Sandfer now looks for second off M Haas. Michaels out in front. 3 wide, 2 rows deep behind him with McIntyre, Guilbert, and Keys. Car up ahead is D Poteet, and they will catch him probably out of turn 4. Here comes Sandfer for second off of M Haas, and the inside line's going to get blocked. Sandfer's going to get blockaded by D Poteet. Michaels, white flag in the air. M Haas in second, J Arndt in third, McIntyre fourth, Keys in fifth. Non-playoff driver second through fifth. It's a playoff driver out in front in Joshua Michaels. Can M Haas do something down here into 3 and 4? He's got a good run. Will he be able to take a peek? Through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Haas takes a look to the inside. Can he get there? No, he cannot. Joshua Michaels locks himself into the round of 12. Back-to-back wins for Michaels as he takes his 3rd checkered flag of the season here tonight at Chicagoland. His first win this season came at the dirt track of Eldora. His second win that locked him into the chase, moving him into the top 30 in points, came last week in the regular season finale at M&M's. And tonight, he spearheads his chase, beginning with a win in the Tail of the Turtles 400. This could be a final season to remember for Joshua Michaels. He will be the only driver heading into Dodge Motordrome worry-free, knowing that regardless of Dodge Motordrome's and Indianapolis's happenings, he will be moving on to the round of 12 to compete for the championship here in the Hersheys Cup Series. How about that? What a battle there at the end. Playoff drivers, non-playoff drivers. And that slower car of D Poteet definitely came into play in the outcome of this race. Michaels will get his 3rd win of the season. That's a career high for him. M Haas so close to picking up his 1st win of the season. He'll have to settle for second, as will J Arndt, Levi McIntyre, and Blaine Keys. Hungry drivers wanting their 1st win of the season, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Charles Sandfer almost locked himself up a spot in the top 12 for the playoffs, but D Poteet had other ideas, so Sandfer will have to settle for 6th, but a great run for a number of playoff drivers in 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th for Sandfer, Miles, Galligan, and Dodd. That'll put them in good stead heading into next week's race at Dodge Motordrome. James Richardson will complete the top 10. The rest of your playoff drivers, where'd they finish? Alex Drayton was 13th. Trent Dunham 14th. Shelton in 15th. Daniel Guilbert was 18th. 19th, Cole Baker. 20th was Caleb Farrell. 21st, Dylan Young. 22nd was Anthony McCrury. That fuel strategy did not work out for K Shearer. He gave up a lot of track position as a result. Finishes in 24th place. And then you get on down here and you end up having drivers that are going to be really having to work hard in the upcoming 2 weeks to get themselves back into the top 12, including Garrett Sydnor finishing a lap down in 34th and Dallas McIntosh finishing a lap down in the 35th position. 2 drivers finished out of the race, K Batson and J Baskinger. 29 cars finished on the lead lap of 37 cars that were running. Well, folks, next week, it is just Hersheys Cup Series action at the short track of Dodge Motordrome, so hope you'll tune in for that. Hope you enjoyed tonight's race from Chicagoland. Joshua Michaels locks himself into the round of 12. If you enjoyed this race, be sure to give it a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. Here's your full finish results, your rookie points, and your overall points into next week as you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.